pleasure of saying a few, or maybe just a bit more than just a few words, on behalf of Michael and me and the Grantham Law fans. I have to say that it isn't an easy task giving a speech in this sort of scenario, and in some ways I feel like I've drawn the short straw. But anyway, I first met Kerry in late 2007, and that was the time that I relocated here from Hamilton, and just not long after I married Michael. And she welcomed me into the area and she invited me to lunch, which I was happy to accept, given that I was the newbie on the block, so to speak. It was the start of not only a legal friendship, but a personal friendship as well. And given Kerry's kindness towards me and our family, I've always said to her that whenever she was ready to give up practicing on her own, she could come and join Grantham Law. I might be regretting those words. But I always said to her that we would look after her until she was ready to retire. So in 2019, she came and joined Grantham Law. And if she was not retiring, she would have been celebrating her 5 years in May next year. Now, I'd be lying if I said it was easy. Kerry has a few quirky traits. No comment. But then I'm sure some of our staff might say that about me. So I need to tread very carefully. But Kerry enjoys her tea, and man, can she drink a lot of tea. And we've got young Megan, who seems to be following in her footsteps. Kerry also likes to have chats at any given opportunity. And in fact, I think she would win a chatathon if there was such a thing. Michael says that she, like many of her colleagues, is a repressed thespian, which would be quite true. I'd say that Kerry is quick-witted, and if any of you have been in her presence, she can, come up with them pretty damn quickly. She's kind and she's generous, and she has a flair for the dramatics, for those of you who don't know, and has been passionate about the law and the work that she's done over the years, especially in her role as lawyer for child. Kerry, for those of you who don't know, has had actually quite an interesting career, and I always go on about her admittance certificate, which was signed by Lord Denny. I just think that's one of the greatest things ever. And I've always said if Francis doesn't want it, I want it. But her career has spanned over a 51-year period, which I think is just really remarkable. And I would go as far to say, and I have, even when we did an article for Kerry when she was her 50 years in law, no one could tell me that there was another female practitioner who had done more than 50 years in New Zealand. So I am pretty confident to say that Kerry, you're the one and only that has 51 years is a pretty remarkable thing. But needless to say, she's seen many changes over that time, from the introduction of the computer and fax machine.
forgot the internal combustion engine. People can fly now.
Yeah, fair enough. We came across 6 weeks in a boat from England to New Zealand, so yes, we can fly now.
In fact, we weren't sure whether the fax was actually out before you practiced or not, so we had to Google it today.
No,
and it wasn't.
No.
It was 1985.
Yeah.
And of course, the now numerous numbers of female practitioners making their mark in a profession that was dominated by men. And let's not forget the ability to now stalk all our clients on Facebook and social media. Kerry will not be missed for her baking or her cooking skills. They are not. So don't even think about inviting Kerry if you want something baked. She is good at putting a cheese board together though. But the G-Law Happy Birthday a cappella group will miss you dearly. And in a funny way, they'll be quite big shoes to fill. Kerry actually has a beautiful singing voice, for those of you who don't know. Last night I was in some of you may know I'm involved with a local kindergarten, and I had a board meeting last night. And there was a verse shared at that meeting, which is from W.H. Murray, who's a Scottish mountaineer and writer. And it made me think about Kerry's retirement today. And he'd written, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. And it has taken Kerry some time to decide that she'll retire. There's been, I would say, much hesitancy in actually retiring. He continues that a whole stream of events, issues from decision raising in one's favour, all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance. While there has been hesitance, I'm confident that when Kerry retires on the 21st of December, that all sorts of events and adventures, some planned, some impromptu, will issue from that day forward. Amber came up with a little ditty. For those of you who don't know, Amber's my trusted PA. She wrote this, which was good. Happy days are finally here, time clocks and schedules have disappeared. Since Canterbury University Class 71, the days of 9 to 5 are nearly done. From being the only female in that class, you've seen a major social contrast. In Australia, UK and New Zealand you have practiced, further world discoveries are now a must. You're free to take your time to do the most important matters, animal welfare, friends and kins. You've worked all your life and paid your dues, now you get to do anything you choose. And since you're the boss of what you do, retirement plans are all up to you. So, Kerry, everyone got their glasses charged? You haven't, just pretend. So, on behalf of the legal profession, thank you for your contribution to not only the profession itself, but to all the events and robs that you've acted for over the years. I purposely used the name Yvette. One of Kerry's long-standing clients. On behalf of all the children that you've advocated for, thank you. And on behalf of everyone here, we send you off with retirement good vibes and cheer.
Are we doing the cheers?
Yes. Let me find mine. Right, to Kerry's retirement.
Kerry's retirement.
I've got a little sleeve.
Oh, God.
Might be a few more speakers.
Unless someone else wants to say something first.
It's just that you look very beautiful. She doesn't.
I feel like the judges should say so. Yes. You know, it has been an incredible. I'm Elaine Wells, for those who don't know me. But I have known Kerry since I started in practice in 1982, and which is a long time. And I've only known her because I was in Rotorua and she was in Taupo, and there were hardly any women. Pretty much about 5. Really, weren't there? About 5 women in this region. And so, you know, kind of we all had to know each other and we all had to be supportive of each other. So, Kerry, you have been, let me just say this, you know, people in your Lawyer for Child work, there are people who do a good job, and then there are people who care and do a good job. And, you know, although I have to say I have moaned many times about the length of your reports, under my breath, I would never say it out loud, the detail that you bring to it and the thought and the care that you bring to what is really important for children. You know, those things that maybe not everybody thinks matters, but you know do. And so you raise those things and everybody goes, oh no. But then I look at that and I think, oh yeah, you know, those things matter. And even though I haven't always done exactly what you wanted, just bringing those things, lifting them to the surface, airing them, because airing them is the important thing, something is done. And so in your role over all of those years, you have made an immense difference to hundreds, if not thousands of children. And I want to thank you very much on behalf of the law profession, on behalf of the judges, but also on behalf of the community. That's all I want to say.
As you know, judges like to talk.
We all like to have our say.
I'm one of the 3 judges that service the Taupo Court. For those of you that don't know, I'm Judge Melinda Brook, and we've got Judge Jocelyn Munro over here. So of the 3 of us, I'm going to take my glasses off, I'm the one who's had the least to do with Kerry, nevertheless. I think I've been presiding here for about over 3 years now, so that's been my experience of Kerry. 3 years, it's not insignificant, and so I'd like to say something as well. Right, I've just lost the
Technology.
lost the technology. I hope I don't play some songs. Bear with me.
There'll be good songs though. Good playlist.
Bear with me. Just have a sip while I'm doing this. Thank you. Judges are also accustomed to making people wait. So over this time, I've learned about you as a professional these things. You're passionate about the work that you've done. I've only had experience of you, I believe, as lawyer for child. Sorry to repeat Janine's point, but it's true. That's the impression I gained. And you haven't been afraid to speak up if you thought that something wasn't right for a child on file. You've had great courage in that regard, and so I commend you for that, because that's an essential quality of a lawyer for child, to stand up for what you think is right. I've lost my screen again. What is with this?
Kerry will understand perfectly.
And I know what the other point was. I think that you've been very conscientious in your work as well. Always on time, reports always on time. And while they were slightly longer, I thought they were very well written. So it's actually not a criticism of you, it's more a matter of us as these judicial officers being time for. So it's been a pleasure and privilege to have you appearing in front of me, and I'm sure that goes for all of us. And I think you've been very, very humble and diplomatic when I've asked you to move into the centre of the court. Kerry will know what I'm talking about.
You could tell them.
The bench is quite high and I can't quite see her.
She's been asked to stand up before.
So sometimes I could hear the voice. But I don't want that to detract from the quality of the work. So I very much appreciate your advocacy for the children of this community, and I think that you will be taking away significant experience from the bar here, and maybe you'll still offer your experience to those younger lawyers, of which there are only a few, unfortunately. Perhaps you might mentor someone, but don't let me tell you what to do.
Anymore.
I was going to touch upon the length of time that you've been practicing, but Janine has done that. I won't make any more of those comments about technology. When I started, there were only fax machines. We didn't even have laptops. So I imagine you must have been far less accessible back then. Perhaps just a phone call and message people in those days and a little pile. I can imagine that you won't miss the phone going incessantly from your clients, from your parents. And I can only imagine that you'll be very much looking forward to enjoy this environment and the ability to spend more time with your friends and family. And it's been a pleasure to meet you all this evening. So thank you.
Okay, better do that to classes.
I can't see with them.
Oh, okay. Lucky you.
Now, this is going to be my attempt at some te rere. So, tēnā koutou katoa. Whakawhetai kia koutou, roi haramai, ni mihi nui ko Michael, and rau ko Denise, moti manaki. That's a very bad effort to say greetings to you all. Thank you for coming, and thank you to Michael and Denise for your hospitality. One of the things I am going to do when I retire is to do some more te reo lessons, because I've only done 10 and I need to do some more. So my career choice was in fact to be a movie star. Why? I don't know why you're laughing.
There's still time, Kerry.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But tonight is my Oscar party.
Yeah.
Because my legal career has been amazing and fulfilling beyond my dreams. I didn't get quite as rich as some of the film stars. So those who don't know my history, just briefly, this really is going to be brief. I have a law degree from Canterbury University, practiced law in Christchurch, then in Perth, and I qualified as a solicitor in the United Kingdom where I worked for 6 years. And then after returning to New Zealand with my son, I eventually came to Taupo in 1992. I then worked at Christiansen Woitu Partners, and that's a while ago, isn't it? And there were just two people I wanted to mention who have passed, and that's David Valance, who was always so kind to me, and Chris Roifi, who mentored me to set up my own practice, which I did for 15 years. And I was also assisted by Kathy Wiltshire, who isn't dead. She was very kind when I went into her office and said, well, what do I need by way of machinery? She patiently said, you'll need a photocopy. It was really nice. So apart from 3 years in the Bay of Islands, Taupo Tupou has been my home, including the last 5 years at Grantham Law. Now I've been spoiled at Grantham Law. We've had cake, chocolate, parties, dinners, quiz nights, a trip to Queenstown with my sister.
Oh, that was so good.
To celebrate my 50 years of experience. So they did that for me, so thank you very much. They gave me funds for my UK holiday, thank you very much. And recently we had a fabulous trip to Sydney, the whole office went, and it was such a wonderful experience, so thank you so much for that. So, my appointment is, yes, get a job at Grantham.
We're going to try to ban you.
So my appointment in 2002 as a lawyer for child was a privilege for me and the highlight of my career. To be a lawyer for children who need to be heard is very special. Our tamariki are not being heard, and it's a problem in our society which we all need to address and don't ignore. It's easy to ignore it and just get on with your life, but it's really important that the children are heard. So one door closes and another one opens. Retirement is going to be a new chapter in my life. People have said, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm not sure. But the new chapter in my life is for me to be surrounded by special people, family and friends, and not to mention my furry friends, because most of you will know I love dogs and animals. So you'll no doubt see me down the lakefront with a dog, and that's my happy place. So thank you all once again for coming, and especially to those who travelled at a distance to come here.
Well, if anyone Anyone else would like to say anything? No? All right. Cheers, Kerry.
Thank you.
Cheers, Kerry.
I might have a drink now.
Let me know, you've been 3 poles.